We're live.
What was that countdown for?
Just, we're live. Best intro ever.
Oh! Hey there, friends! Foster the Canadian here. Pro Perks Podcast, PPP. PPP with only two P's. People. Peeps. Hey, this is Shamrock. I'm Foster. There's a ghost named Riley somewhere.
Yeah, some guy named Riley. But
Some ghost.
yep, some
Alright,
ghost
so,
named Riley.
this is a very special Pro Perks podcast in that it has no one to drag it down except for Shamrock. One
Yep.
day I will be able to do a solo Pro Perks podcast.
No,
but
you
that day is
won't.
far from now. Yes, I will!
So, mind if I take over from here for a little bit?
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Alright, so welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Perks Podcast 3.5, I think. Last week was 3.0, if I'm correct, right? Let me check that. Yep. Last week was 3,
Alright.
so this will be 3.5. And
Wonderful.
basically, me and Foster are going to have a dual comm on the next-gen consoles, Xbox One versus PS4, compared to PC gaming. And we'll explain that later on. So, how you been, Foster?
Alright. Been having some fun on game night, which I've been doing with a lot of people.
I've seen
So,
that.
game night is friggin' fun. I've got a lot of highlights that I might put on my channel because this one was pretty good.
I see your live streams, and I can't help but to laugh whenever... What's the game mode called with the huge player model?
Godzilla size!
Yeah, that one, Godzilla. I
It's
cannot
so
help but
fun.
to laugh.
Oh man, Halo 4 has new life for me because of all these weird, wacky, modded game modes.
Yeah, best
It's
mod
wonderful.
game modes ever. Exactly. So
I love that they haven't been taken down either. That Bungie, or not Bungie, 343, sorry, I'm still stuck in the past. 343 has sort of let it go on. And I think that's pretty cool because they're not using it to game the system or anything. They're just using it for fun.
Yeah.
And I think 343 sees that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
that's
I
pretty
think I think the community is definitely what drives the game itself. It used to be with the NES that here, take the cartridge. This is as much as we'll give you. This is all we can give you right now. And now that the internet and fast broadband is more available, more widespread available, it's offered us a new way to connect. And I think just like Minecraft, it really has helped the game itself.
Well, no kidding. You look at
yeah.
Minecraft, and that game, I don't think Minecraft would have nearly the popularity if it wasn't constantly flooded with new mods and new features and
texture
just
packs and
great community.
yeah. I mean, C9ers really showed it off and gave
Custom
it,
maps, too. Like, just
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on adventure maps and the creativity of people with adventure maps nowadays, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's amazing. I look at all these
I
artists,
honestly
like they
think
are
if I could
artists,
have
like
only
architecture
one
creating
game-
such amazing builds, except for the swastikas and dumbasses that create
Yeah.
Hitler models. But
Yeah. But if I could only play one game at this point, I think it might have to be Minecraft, just because it has potential to be more than the sum of its parts. It
Yeah, the
can
way
be
I
more
put
than
it-
just Minecraft.
I've been around since 1.8, like the beta. I've been around like the weekend the update dropped.
You
the
want
adventure
to
mode.
you want to brag about it?
Yeah,
You
I
wanna
do.
brag about
I
that?
do want to brag about it.
I've been around since the
weekend-
alpha.
Oh, I don't want to mess with that guy.
Boom!
I bet he goes to the
Green
bar and
Nether!
gets all the ladies. Oh man.
Yeah, I got a T-shirt that says Minecraft Alpha. I made it myself with a Sharpie, but it's still official.
Right. Sponsored by Mojang. But
It says I heart notch. Actually, it's
back in my day, we only had pigs and chickens. And cows. And your mother. Wait, what's the difference? Oh. Bad joke. Wait. I know what to call
After
this.
Riley made a your mother joke.
I think
I feel like
covered
that
myself.
applause was for me.
Well,
Bad timing, my friend. Bad timing. All right, so let's move on with the topics.
alright, so the Xbox One GPU and the RAM. There's like a lot of rumors, and they're still not, like the specs are not fully released officially. We do have the specs of the GPU,
Rumors.
the clock speed, and the RAM, but we don't know much more than that for the most part. Same with the PS4. There's a lot of rumors that Sony is going to increase the RAM, increase the clock speed. They did confirm that they will be using more. I think it's 12 gigs of RAM altogether, and they're using 8 for the operating system and the rest for GPU. I think I'm correct there. I'll leave sources in the description below if that really helps us out there. but they are increasing the RAM for the operating system, and people don't realize that that's probably the best thing to do. Am I right here? What are your thoughts?
Well, I don't really want to comment too heavily about this because right now it is 90% rumor and 10% hearsay. I don't think that
Boy, that's what this dual cam is about.
yeah,
What are you
hearsay and rumors. So I just wanted to put like that disclaimer out there. But I mean overall, they are creating consoles unlike any consoles that we've seen. When the original Xbox was released, the 360, the PlayStation 1, the Nintendo 64, they all followed the same path as, this just plays video games. Maybe it will play a CD or a DVD or something like that, but it's just video games. And now it's evolved to so much more that when I look at this, the specs for it, it's hard for me to really try to figure out what is good for this generation of consoles because I don't know. Like the original Xbox, it didn't seem like it needed as much RAM as they had put in it, but now that they've added so many features to the Xbox 360, it feels like it could use more RAM. Like they've evolved it beyond what it's capable of. So I really have no comment because these guys know what they're doing much better than I do. I'm not going to be like, well, they're not putting enough into the GPU, or that's too much into the GPU. Why don't they put in 1,000,000 gigabytes of RAM? I don't want to comment like that.
I see where you're coming from, Foster, and I agree with you to a certain extent. But if you look at it from the other side of the spectrum, our side, then we're the gamers. We are the ones that are going to be using it 24/7. And if the littlest thing is off, let's say the GPU is not at all, like the clock speed isn't as fast as we want it to. It's in our own mind, since we play Call of Duty and Halo 3, we know a lot. Things change drastically faster than just someone that plays chess, for example. So we notice smaller things over a shorter amount of time. That being said, we should be the ones that are in charge of what we want. It shouldn't be, alright, let's give the operating system 4 gigabytes of RAM. I mean, yeah. And then the gaming side, 8 gigs of RAM. Because then there's not enough balance. If we want to go to Netflix after we play a couple matches of Battlefield 4, and we don't have enough, the GPU is not what we desire. It's not effortlessly just pumping out Netflix streaming. It takes ages. Like, if you haven't noticed on the PS3, the servers are awful. There's not that many servers.
Nah.
And even with that, the GPU still doesn't load. It's a very minor difference. It still doesn't load things like explosions, like a 0.01% better on the Xbox 360 than it is on the PS3. I'm sorry I'm rambling here, but what I'm trying to get across here is that we're the gamers. We're the ones that are going to be buying this and using it. So we should be dictating, to a certain extent, what is on these consoles. I mean, PC is different because we control everything we want on the PC if you're building it or if you're customizing it, like Dell offers. What were you going to say?
I think the issue is, though, that we only have a small part of the equation. Like, to us, we look at it and we go, that's not enough, or, why are you putting this much in the GPU? And we are not getting the other part of the equation where, they have a reasoning behind it. And I think, these guys are people who live, sleep, and breathe consoles. They make the consoles. We just play on them. We play on these consoles. And
we also live, breathe, and eat these consoles. See how I threw
But we don't make them. I mean, if we are sitting back and go, hey, you're not putting enough into the GPU, and then they're like, no, listen, this is so that we can... No! You're not putting enough!
That's exactly true, and we have pushed them. Like whenever they got rid of the DRM policy, then we pushed a lot of things out, like the sharing parts of it. We pushed a lot of them out when they didn't even have a chance to really explain themselves. In this case, though, where we don't like the clock speed, it's not fast enough. I wanted 3.0 gigahertz of speed versus your 2.7. That's a big deal. But if it's something about policies, or it's something on like, okay, this is the legal agreement, this is what you can use, can't use, this is what you will use it for, this is what you can't use it for, that's okay. but I don't think they have any sort of right to really say, okay, you guys have no idea what you're doing here. You're just the person that's using this 24/7. You have no say in this.
But for all we know, they have other stuff in that console, and their logic is, well, look, we could increase this, we could put it up to your standards, but then we'd either have to A, charge you $100 more, B, redesign the entire console, or C, sacrifice something else. Maybe the graphics card will have to take a hit because of this. I think that they've gone through a lot of effort balancing it so it's just perfect, and I don't think that we are really in a position where we can say, no, that's not right, because we don't know the ins and outs of it. We know the ins and outs of what we have now, but this is something that we have not been able to even touch yet. So I don't think we can really make these prejudgments about this console before we even get a hold of it.
I see where you're coming from, but on the 90% rumor and 10% actual fact part, when it comes to the consoles itself, I mean, they already did an unboxing, Major Nelson did, for the Xbox One, and although it looks like a VCR, we should also have a say in that. I mean, you can counter-argue, well, we don't know what kind of parts they're going to put in, the hardware they're going to put into the actual chassis, so what say do we have if we want to make it slim and beautiful and sexy and sleek?
I like the look of it.
But no, I was looking at this graph. Hold up, I was looking at this graph before the podcast, the Dualcomm here, and they compared the original Xbox 360 Fat, Xbox 360 Slim, and Xbox One, and there's a major difference. Even with the Xbox 360 Fat, it's at least an inch, like 1.25 times bigger than what the Fat is. Like, that's how big the Xbox One is. It's like pretty bulky. I can fit my laptop like lengthwise on right next to my TV better than I can with the Xbox One. It's real bulky.
I can see what you're saying, but I think that if I would prefer it being bulky and be able to perform at a high level than make it slim and crappy. I don't want an Ouya. I want a next generation console. I don't care if it's slim. I want it to be powerful. And if it's big and bulky, then, power. I like power.
Well, that may be true, and then it kind of like whispers, it's a powerhouse since it's big and fat. No, that's not exactly true.
Yeah.
The supercomputers NASA used in the 1960s, and yes, we're going back 50 plus years, no, 61 years. 1969, they were massive. What year are we in? They 2013. But I'm going to go all the way back and give this as an example. The size of my wall, which is about a 10 by 10, 10 by 5, 10 by 8, there we go. That is massive. It's a wall, it's fit for a king size bed, and then a TV, etc., etc. Their supercomputer was the size of this wall, and maybe even larger. But an iPhone 5 or an iPhone 4S is much more powerful than their supercomputer, and yet people
screwed up. They could have made it that small back then.
It was back in the 60s, sorry, almost 70s, and I understand that technology has really come this far to where we can we're almost on the bridge of splitting atoms just to make our operating systems on our phone. That's a whole new topic.
Computers.
It's a whole new topic.
No, I want to talk about nuclear computers.
No. That's a whole new topic for a whole new dual commentary.
Perk Podcast 4, nuclear computers.
Sure. But speaking of computers, actually, I'll let you finish up. What were you going to say before I interrupted with the NASA?
I think that if you gave complete control to the gamers and said, design our console for us, first, you're not going to get two people who agree.
Can you get all these trolls that draw a little penis on the side and be like, I was here?
Yeah, exactly. But my point is, I'd rather have people who are paid to do this for a living that know everything about these consoles and about the gaming industry than people who think they know about the gaming industry.
I agree with you now. Now that you put the gaming industry part into it, I can agree with you.
Yeah, if you can give people the tools to make a game, just an average person tools to make a game, and he might make a good game, but if you give it to the... Yeah, exactly. But that's one person out of how many tens of thousands, but if you give it to, say, a Bethesda, I'm talking about the branch that makes Elder Scrolls, not the other branch that makes Brink, If you give it to Bethesda, they're going to be able to utilize those tools to their full potential.
And as you can see from Oblivion, which was an amazing game, you can see that they did, and they still are with number
Skyrim.
6. Yeah. But when it comes to PC size, the consoles, we've discussed this in, I think, the second Perk podcast. I can't remember exactly. But what we said was, back then, 10 years ago, consoles were like for major gamers. Like, if you had a console, you were a hardcore gamer, man. Like an NES, holy shit, you must play a lot of Mario. Oh man, that's awesome. Nowadays,
Well,
if
I
you
don't
have a
think
console,
people said it was awesome. I think
well,
back
no.
then
Let
we
me
were
finish
still
my thought.
ridiculed.
That was just an analogy, but
I know, I get you.
nowadays, if you have a console compared to an Alienware or an Origin PC or just a custom built one, you're kind of a minor gamer. You're considered a casual gamer on today's society level of gaming, and it's drastically changed. The PC, like my PC that I'm getting, is I think 4.2 overclock speed. And
Hey, that's what mine is.
nice. Compared to, I believe, a 3.0 gigahertz speed with the Xbox One. Just for an example, it's drastically changed, and the console is made for casual gamers. That's exactly what it is, because it's not meant for power. It's meant for stable gaming at, let's say, 60 FPS. That may get better over the next, coming years. Let's say the next 5 years, they start putting out all these updates and a better version of the Xbox One, like an Xbox One Slim, where it has like 3.9 gigahertz.
Can we put in a link in this podcast on a page how to download RAM?
Sure. Sure.
I love that website, man. How to download RAM.
Why?
So, because
I'm
I
gonna
sent it.
do a
My
Google
mom
search.
was like, "Do you know what RAM is?" I sent her that link, and she thought it was real. And she was like, "I've been downloading the RAM. I don't think my computer's getting faster."
Wow.
So that's just fun with people who aren't.
I don't
familiar with
understand.
computers.
Download more RAM, exactly what it says on the tin. Our website gives you the ability to, quote, download no RAM, unquote, at no cost. That's horrible.
There's a link to download 16 gigs of RAM.
I can get 4 gigs of RAM. Hell yeah!
Yeah, upgrade.
Wait, what are you downloading? You're downloading viruses? Or
Yeah,
what?
absolutely. It's viruses.
Oh, wait, it's a RAM. That's hilarious.
Oh, you found one that actually is a RAM?
Welcome. Okay, let's get off of this. Damn.
Alright.
Let's get off of this. How to install more. Damn. Anyway, so I've seen a lot of PCs go from back in 2001 when Alienware dropped their full, like, real cheesy looking green Alienware desktop, and real bulky, and that was like 3.5 gigahertz speed. Now they can overclock it to 4.7 gigahertz of speed, and the GPU is above 4 gigabytes, depending on what graphics card you use. If you want the Titan, spend that $1,000. You have a supercomputer. If you have the monitor, if you have the PC itself, and there's so many customizations. There's so many things to customize on the PC side that Xbox One and PS4 will never have, or in general consoles will never have. Unless it gets
Steam
more
box.
expensive. Yeah, the Steam box is different though. I mean, what I consider the Steam box and what IGN considers are totally different.
Yeah,
the Alienware X51 is probably the best console ever.
Alienware, in my opinion, Alienware, you're paying more for the brand name nowadays than anything.
Exactly. It's like Apple and HP. You're buying
The best
name.
way to go is to get a custom-built computer at
That's
this point.
true, but then I can counter-argue saying, well, the PC I want to build is a motherfucking supercomputer that costs $4,000. Whereas, if you buy an Alienware for, let's say, $2,300, then it may not be as powerful, but it'll get you there.
Yeah, well,
I was going to
think the
get
point-
an
you
Alienware
bring up-
Aurora.
You bring up money. I'm not expecting to pay $500 and get a supercomputer. I think when you pay $500 for an Xbox One, you get a pretty good deal for that $500.
Right.
As
It'll
far
do
as
what
the
it's
computer
supposed to
goes.
do and a little bit more.
Yeah, like if you bought a $500 computer, you're getting like maybe, if you're lucky, an i3 processor with 4 gigs of RAM.
Not
If
even a
you're
quad
lucky.
core. Not even a quad core
Dual core, man.
Yeah, dual, 2 of them, not even 4. Dual.
I'm not even sure if you can get a dual core for $500.
Like water cooling, and it has a separate water cooler, like an actual ice cooler, and it has a bunch of water in it. Like, I don't think this is gonna work. It'll work.
Yeah, you won't be able to play crap on it.
Yeah.
And maybe you will. Maybe I don't know. I don't want to judge all $500 computers.
I was on Dell and Dell.com whenever I was ordering my PC, and I saw this one PC that's just, it's a family computer. It's not meant for hardcore gaming. It's not meant for this or that. It's an all-in-one, except for gaming, kind of PC. It's I think it was like $600 maxed out. Like, you can get 32 gigs of RAM on it for some reason, as if you're gonna need that much for just office work. But just gonna max the hell out of that RAM.
All right, what are the rumored specs on the Xbox One as far as processor and RAM goes?
Now, the processor speed, I know that the GPU is going to be... sorry, not the GPU. The actual clock speed is going to be... Shit! We'll edit this part out while I look up the specs.
Alright.
Xbox One. Let's see. IGN has... oh, wow, this is pretty trusted. I'll put this here. I'm going to put this in the description. in the chat. So
alright.
Just in case you want to look at it. And let's see here.
All right, I want to brush my teeth.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just going to keep talking. No,
holy crap, 8-core?
No way. 8-core AMD custom CPU with 853 megahertz GPU. Not bad. Could be better, but not bad. 500 gigs of storage. That's good for a console. Second screen... No, the second screen is actually pretty good. Cloud storage is free and unlimited. Mandatory game installs, yes. After day 1 patch, no.
All right, so let's take this part. 8-core AMD CPU, 8 gigabytes to 12 of RAM. They might be upping it, according to the rumor. 500 gigabyte hard drive. You cannot get a computer with those specifications for $500. You just can't.
You can't, but the reason is because the Xbox One is closed off to Netflix, Hulu, gaming, whereas the PC is your open world.
But it will play those games
and
on that level.
Here's the thing. The reason why they can sell it for $500 and profit is because
they don't profit. It took them I think like 3 years just to profit off of the Xbox 360.
But that's still a profit. If I sell $500 worth of let's say RAM to you for $501, guess what? I just profited $1.
Yeah.
And if I do that 1,000 times, I just profited $1,000.
Video game companies, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, anytime they launch a new console, they accept that there's going to be huge losses at the beginning. They never profit initially off of consoles because it does cost more to make them and mass produce them.
Yeah, when you mass produce them and then you can start slowing down production, it's like a bottleneck. As soon as you're done mass producing and it's in that little bottleneck, then that's when the people are starting to feed off of it.
3 years from now,
when you are just like, here, take them. I don't want them. Here.
3 years from now, people will... Microsoft will be profiting off of it, but in the meantime, they're not making a whole lot of money off of this. You're getting a $500 very good console for... you wouldn't be able to get a computer for that price, ever.
Right, and it's pretty
8 cores,
cool.
Man.
DirectX 11.2 API, that's good. They have Skype. You see, they're going to have a lot of RAM. What's the RAM? 8 gigs. And then, wow, SRAM is 32. Could be more. I'd like to double that. But anyway, yeah, so the whole thing with this is with a PC, you can upgrade it. And I think it's real hard to tell why, like, if you are a part of Cisco or Comcast or what's that other? Oh yeah, Google Fiber, Verizon Fios. You will automatically know why the PC is more expensive because you work with them. You don't work with consoles. It's not like someone doesn't call you up and say, "Hey man, I want some. I need a better internet for my console." They say, "Hey, I need better internet." and then you specify one. Usually they say PC or internet-wise, and that's where the PC comes in mind. Because consoles, you really don't search up on the internet.
All right, I'm about to make a good point here, though.
Go for it.
You look at the games on the 360 right now. I've been playing. I've just finished Tomb Raider, which is a beautiful-looking game that runs perfectly smooth, and it looks pretty much just as good as its PC counterpart. That is running on 512 megabytes of RAM. That's it. 512. That's what the Xbox 360 has. So when we are like sitting here criticizing the Xbox One's RAM, it's going to be fine. It's going to be able to run games that look absolutely amazing on whether it's 8, 12, however many gigabytes of RAM. They're going to look stunning. They're going to run just fine. And I think 8 years after the 360 comes out, it releases a game like Tomb Raider that looks that good. I really have zero fears about the Xbox One and what it's capable of.
I'm going to counter-argue by saying I'm going to bring up a game, Borderlands 2, very popular among the gaming community if you're into like RPGs.
Cell-shaded, doesn't count.
Now, if you look at a graphics card like the Titan versus... Borderlands 2 is enhanced in NVIDIA cards. It's made to run over NVIDIA cards for a reason. The main reason is if you take console footage or just AMD versus NVIDIA, in this case it'll be a 660 series with a 2.0 gigabytes of space, and you put them you splice them side by side, you're going to see a major difference in the NVIDIA side versus the console or the AMD side. And the reason why PC is expensive, for the most part, there are several reasons, is because you can upgrade it countless times until the chassis is too small or it's just not working out for the heat vents, and you have to replace it. With the PC, it can keep going. That motherboard, guess what? That can keep going for years. You just have to feed it that kind of lifespan. But in the console case, you can't upgrade it. Don't pull out the Steam box. We've already discussed this. But you can't really upgrade the Xbox One or PS4.
You can upgrade the hard drive.
Huh?
You can upgrade the hard drive. That's something.
You really can't. You can, but you may lose all your stuff. You can't really... No. Okay.
It has a transfer cable.
Don't twist my words around here. But
you're twisting your own words here.
What I mean is you can't change out the GPU, the graphics card. You can't overclock it. You cannot do any... You can't change out the motherboard as if I already had one. You can't do anything but change the hard drive out, the disc out. It has the optical drive it uses is a Blu-ray disc, which is pretty good. But what I'm trying to get across here is that the reason why people like me prefer the PC versus console is because you're not limited to just that. On the console side, on the console side, you are limited. Like, here's a beautiful game to bring up: Battlefield 3. You can hate on it, whatever. It's a beautiful game. Same with COD. However, the suppression, it's awful. It just was made for consoles for a reason. It was made for PC as well. The maps are bigger and more advantageous on some sides than the other for a reason. But when you get down to the very end of the ladder here, and you're on the whether or not it's PC or console, it's worse on the PC than it is on the console because really it's limited. They couldn't deal with much with this current gen of consoles. The Frostbite engine, it just, you can't do much with it if you don't have enough RAM like you have on the PC. That's why they are making fully destructible buildings. If you ever seen the gameplay footage on the multiplayer E3 side, the whole building can collapse and destroy people, kill people, destroy everything.
Yeah.
And that's something you need a lot of RAM for.
And yet, Battlefield 3 works just fine on the 360.
It does at 60 FPS, but it's limiting itself, and DICE is limiting themselves by only, like, they're feeding the console side more than the PC side, and you're really digging your own grave there. If you were not allowing both sides to kind of be nurtured on the same level, then one side's going to be better but still limiting the other, if that makes sense. If I make it for console, it's most likely not at the fullest potential for the PC. everyone understands that. It's a real simple concept here. If I make it 60 FPS
I think
at the
what
max
you're trying
for
to
console,
say, I think
it's probably not going to be the best on PC because there's a reason why it's maxed out at 60 FPS. The reason why the
I
Frostbite
think I
engine
can
on
sum up
Battlefield
what you're
2
saying really quick.
Go ahead.
All right, I think what GreyShamrock here is trying to say is that there are going to be companies out there that try to make it work better on the console, and because of that, it's going to affect the way that it runs on a PC. So buy a console and not a PC.
No.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Sort of the very beginning, yes, but what I'm trying to say
just
here
messing with you.
is
I get what you're saying.
Okay,
But
well,
if you're going to go out and say, should I get a $500 console or should I get a $1,500 PC, if all you're looking at is performance, yeah, the PC is going to win every time. You're paying for that performance. You're paying that $1,500 for performance, and I don't think anyone's going to debate that a $1,500 PC isn't better than a $500 console. That's just not going to be a debate. I think the real debate here is, or what it should be, is how much better is the Xbox One compared to the 360, the PS3, Wii U. Even I'm so sad about Nintendo, man. So sad.
Yeah, see,
I don't want to bring that up.
that's another topic we can go into real quick. But yeah, recap.
Nintendo's going under, man.
But okay, hold on. We'll talk about its death in a
We'll
minute.
I'm itching to talk about it.
Recap is that overall the PC will win. That's just how things
Absolutely.
are. That's the deal.
Well,
that's just
a
how things are.
high-end PC will win.
Yes, a $2,000 or above PC will win most cases. However, at the end of the day, holy shit, I can't talk today. You're paying for what you get, and that's really what it is. That's how things are. You're not gonna pay $250 for $500 console. That's just not how things are. If you want to become a hardcore PC gamer, you're not gonna just drop $1,000. You're gonna have to at least drop $2,000, and then more on the gaming side with games. On the console side, if you want to be a casual gamer, hang out with friends, have fun, and still have good games to play, you're dropping around less than $600. So just keep that in mind from yours truly, from Foster the Canadian and GreyShamrock. Anyway, about Nintendo dying.
Okay, can we talk about how badly it did this quarter?
Yes, we can. Go on, my good friend.
So, basically, last month, which, or was it June or July? Either way, the Wii U, their newer console, sold less than the Wii. And their profits that they projected, their lowest expectations, it was a tenth of that.
Wow.
So I think that they sold over the first, let's see, I think 0.16 million. So not even a million. And the Wii sold a few million.
Man,
this is last year, by the way. So
that's sad.
20,
I love Nintendo, and
I miss it.
I
miss
truly
you,
respect
Nintendo.
Nintendo. Like, here's what one of their I believe it was their CEO that said this. The current one. He said in an interview with, I think it was IGN. They're like,
I should state that I was going off by memory.
Why don't
there.
you make the graphics and the GPU and the clock speed faster and better? And they said, we make video games, not art. And I respect the hell out of them for that. Like, if you're in the business to develop games and make people happy, like there's this Payday, the people that make Payday and Payday 2, the heist, Overkill, same thing with them. If you're in it to develop the games and give people these games to have fun with, you have my full respect.
Yeah.
I don't know about Foster here.
No, absolutely.
Like, Overkill, one of the directors, the main director, even said, look, if we have $10, we're not going to spend that on advertisements. We're not going to pay a guy to go tell his friend Bill to go play go play Payday 2, and then tell his buddy to go play Payday 2. We use that $10 to better the game and make games better and let people have fun. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's awesome. With Nintendo really clinging on to the whole thing, the whole philosophy, the self-fulfilling prophecy. Sorry, can't talk today. Where if people like the games, great. If they're not, do something about it. While they're clinging to that, and Microsoft and Sony are fighting over, well, no, the graphics have to be amazing, then they're missing the point on it. And Nintendo will really help themselves by it. I'm kind of stuttering here, I can't find the words. Allow me to try an analogy. If, let's say, Activision was a Nintendo developer, Activision was under the control of Nintendo, COD was for Nintendo, and hardcore players played the Wii U, or the Wii. Now, this is an alternate universe where nothing could happen like this, but it's going to be real weird. The graphics aren't going to be the best. Maybe advertisement will not be the best. Maybe not that much DLC due to how Wii U and the Wii is very inexpensive after you buy the console. But it's a very different game. Maybe they would put more effort into satisfying the community instead of, let's say, Bondahar was into Nintendo instead of Microsoft. Maybe he would have nerfed the LMGs and Target Finder instead of the DSR and Ballista, just for an example.
All right, I pulled up some stats here.
All right.
So from January to March 2013, the Wii U in the United States sold less than the 360, the PlayStation 3, the 3DS, the Wii.
Oh, I fucking love the 3DS. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get mine.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Go on.
Okay, and the DS.
Oh,
the
God.
Wii U sold less than the DS, which hasn't been around for like 2 years. More than that.
Man, that
3DS
is sad.
came out in 2011.
Actually, I'm gonna I have my 3DS right here.
I've got one
I'm gonna be
stat
playing
that's
some
gonna
Sonic.
blow you away. This is gonna blow you away. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
In Europe,
Okay.
the Wii U sold less than the PSP.
Then the PSP.
Not the PS Vita. The PSP.
The original PSP. Oh man, that's a heartbreaker right there. It's next gen. Like Wii U is early. They're next gen, and yet they're. Oh man, I'm sorry.
Wii
sorry,
U.
Nintendo.
More like PU, am I right? Joke's not been made before. So, that's Nintendo.
Yeah. I mean, it's very sad. I'm playing Pac-Man, by the way. But, yeah, I mean, I love the 3DS. I have it. I don't play as much Mario as I'd like to, but I definitely do love the 3DS, and it's very revolutionary, I guess, in the 3D gaming side. But when it comes to helping, really satisfy the gamers, it's real hard, too, because they're not hardcore gaming kind of handhelds, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the real problem is Nintendo has completely ignored third-party titles.
Which are, give some examples here.
Metal Gear, Grand Theft Auto.
Well, Metal Gear's a Sony kind of game there. It's made for Sony.
Now it's on the Xbox.
It is, but it started out on the PS. So.
Well, okay, yeah, fine. Then no other console can play Sonic games because everyone's still playing their Sega, right?
Yes.
Games go third party. It's just the way things are. The games eventually, for the most part, go third party. And Nintendo has not, in the past decade, really concentrated on those titles. It has the ability to go out there and say, look, we want Metal Gear on our console. We want Grand Theft Auto on. Please put them on our console. But they go, no, we still want Mario, just Mario. Mario, Zelda.
We don't want
maybe
Nintendo
Kirby.
to be affiliated with killing hookers and running over several people with a crappy car you stole from a very fat man that is a stereotypical American.
Yeah, even though millions of people want to play those, we're not gonna accommodate that.
Right, but then I can kind of see why Nintendo.
But Nintendo has put that kind of stuff on their console. It's not unfamiliar. They've been known to put mature games.
GTA Chinatown was one of them for the Nintendo DS, although it wasn't
great game.
Kind of
Great
Grand
game.
Theft Auto we want, but yeah, it was a good game overall.
It wasn't the Grand Theft Auto game that you would.
Well, really, you
be
can't make a
used to at this
GTA 4
point.
for handheld devices. But
Exactly, especially the DS. The DS doesn't accommodate that, but they took what the DS was capable of, and they made a great Grand Theft Auto game that worked on it. And
Right.
That's something
That's a
that
step
the
forward.
Wii U is ignoring. They could have a great Grand Theft Auto game, great Metal Gear game on there, but they have not pursued that avenue. They have not pursued the third-party avenue. They just want their Zelda. They just want their Mario. I don't even think they care about Metroid
Well,
anymore.
that's
I like
really
Metroid.
what they should focus on, though, because that's GPU is not on their side, graphics are not on their side, which is what really makes the next gen and the current gen what
Well,
they are.
yeah, that's
People
what it
want
makes-
graphics with their amazing games, and if they're still making 8-bit Mario successful on the Xbox 360, please tell me. Because obviously, the reason why they should focus on Zelda and Mario and etc. etc. You understand my point here, is because that's what their the childhood cars, the childhood, that's what people grew up with, in other words, and that's why they should focus on it, because they are not, a kill hooker, steal car, kill hooker, take money back kind of company like Rockstar intends to affiliate themselves with. I mean, Nintendo, like, whenever I think of Nintendo, I think of the Nintendo dogs and cats, and obviously The Legend of Zelda and Mario and Luigi, but there is a whole new side that they have not touched, and they really should, just to experiment. I mean, I would love to see it. I'm sure
I
you would
would
too.
too.
Yeah.
But the problem is not that I don't think that Nintendo is really comfortable anymore. Like, Mario and Zelda have started to age dramatically over the past 3 years because, well, one, I guess they're not releasing any really new titles for it.
Yeah, maybe like a new Mario title on Nintendo here and there, but it's really nothing big.
Yeah, and even the latest Zelda game was not the level that we expect from Zelda.
Actually, sorry to cut you off here, but when I said nothing big, I know there's like a lot of big titles like what is it called, Mario Galaxy, something like that. That is a big title, but what I meant was they're not releasing enough of that. So go on, Foster.
What I'm trying to say here is Nintendo has left gaming, and they've created their own bubble of what they think gaming is.
Yeah,
and they've lived in it for so long.
Like, they have these commercials for the 3DS, like, there's a bunch of very attractive models in one room playing the Nintendo 3DS. It's like, why do you pretend this happens, Nintendo? It doesn't happen. Why are you pretending?
Yeah.
Just stop. I mean, it gets to the point sometimes where you kind of want to just drop them. I'll come back in a year, see if you guys have anything new for me, but I don't know, man. It's hard to put faith into someone or some corporation, and they're not giving it back.
Yep.
But
the thing is, they're not really shying away from mature games. They released House of the Dead earlier this year, which was very mature, and they just are
Resident Evil as well. They do have Resident Evil, and
sorry, I'm thinking of the Wii. Definitely thinking of the Wii. They released House of the Dead on the Wii. They released what was that? Oh shoot, I can't remember. No More Heroes, another mature game. They're fine with these mature games. They're just not pursuing third-party mature games or third-party games in general.
They're really hurting themselves with not allowing these third-party indie developers. It doesn't matter if they're like, successful or not, like Minecraft is, but just altogether indie game developers. There is this game, however, I believe it's called Aeroportman, and that's an indie game that's very successful. It's called Aeroporter, and it's like this airport kind of simulator, and that's indie. That was a third-party developer. If they did more of that was very successful, they would be rocking it out. They'd be the indie title king right there.
All right. I think we should move on. We've ranted about Nintendo dying. I'll end with this. How cool would it be to see a Pokemon game released on Xbox Live Arcade with a full set of achievements? I want to get an achievement for catching them all.
Yeah, I don't think there would, because the damn generations keep coming out. All right, new topic you choose, because I'm all out for the most part.
Have you,
wait.
We'll switch to
I got one.
I wanted to talk.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Have you watched Breaking Bad?
Dude, there is... Let me go down the list. Orange is the New Black, House of Cards, Breaking Bad, of course, Game of Thrones. I can go on, but I'm not. There are so many TV shows I feel like I'm missing out on that I'm not watching.
All right, what you
So,
need to do
no,
is
I
go
have not.
watch Breaking Bad seasons 1 to 5.5. You know, not in the end of season because it hasn't started. Go do that, then we'll start this podcast up again.
That's
Okay.
All right. So we are back, and wow,
How great was that?
dude! Oh my
That
god,
thing happened
that was amazing. Best
on the
TV
toilet.
show ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
alright.
I had to leave for a little bit, so I took my 3DS and I have Netflix on it, so I just watched the rest of the seasons in the bathroom, even after I
That
was
was
done.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was
I
awesome.
watched you while you were in the bathroom.
Oh god.
Now, all right, look, I'm going to talk about Breaking Bad spoiler free here, all right?
All right, go for it.
I actually said this in my vlog I released earlier yesterday because no, wait, when does this podcast come out?
Sunday, so 2 days ago.
Yesterday, today, whatever. I released a vlog where I talked about how I started watching Breaking Bad, and the way it started was I watched one episode in 1 week. And this was season 4 was going on when I first started watching, so I caught up late. I watched one episode, and then I didn't watch another episode for a week. I'm like, look, I don't need it. I don't need it. I watched another episode the next week, and I was like, yeah, well, I guess I'll watch this whenever I get time. And then I watched a couple episodes in 1 day.
Mhm.
Then the next day, I finished season 1. And then I watched all of season 2 in 1 day. And then it continued, and I just wanted more and more. And by the time I finished season 4, I went, no, I gotta have more, man. I gotta have my fix. I gotta have more. Just come on, give me some more. Bryan Cranston. I want to see more Bryan Cranston. Aaron Paul. I want to see more. Come on, give me just a little bit more. Just a taste. Just give me like a trailer for season 5, please. Just anything.
They're like,
anything.
no, we want you to starve.
That it. They in the show sell meth, and the show is.
I've heard about the show.
But the way that people watch the show is the way that people in the show treat meth. It's like, you know, they'll have a little bit at first. Maybe the first one's
okay.
free, and
Good
then they'll
analogy.
continue. They're like, all right, you know, I don't. Maybe next week I'll have another hit, and then they're like, now I need more. I need more.
analogy.
And it's
Right.
at a point now where it's like I'm going through Breaking Bad withdrawal, and I'm just like, Walter White Heisenberg, I need more.
Have a rehab, like, what do they call it? Your mom sits you down in the living room and she says, look,
Intervention.
look, Foster. Yeah, an intervention, like, look, Foster.
Well, that's the thing. It would happen like that, and
We're
then I'd
afraid
just
to
be like,
see where
have
this is
you
going."
watched any?
Season
And then they
5,
get-
season 5 will be here soon, but we want you to take a break. And she's trying to help you out like that.
I honestly, like, that show, if it was a drug, everyone in the world right now would be completely addicted to it. It would have spread so quickly.
Except for Sweden, where they banned it, and Switzerland, and Great
They banned
Britain.
Breaking Bad?
No, I'm just kidding with you.
Let's go bomb them!
Oh, okay, credible threat, credible. We're just kidding.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh,
We're just kidding.
NSA is going to be on
Yeah,
this very quickly.
Here
It was
they go.
a
You're
joke!
not even American. You're not even American.
JK, lol!
The U.S. Army is just gonna, randomly come up to your
I'm definitely
doorstep
getting
and be like, "Sir, we know you're not American, but yeah, we heard what you said, and yeah."
Yeah.
All
But,
right, Canadian, we're just gonna tread on your land.
I think that at the end of every Pro Perks podcast, we should issue a reasonable challenge to the others on the podcast. And
Okay?
we'll alternate.
Lick your
So
elbow.
This week,
Lick your elbow. That's a reasonable one.
I'll take the very first challenge. I'll challenge you.
Okay.
Go start watching Breaking Bad. Even if it's just a couple episodes, just get started, get hooked, get that initial hook.
Of course.
And next episode, we'll talk a little bit more about it.
All right, sounds awesome. That's a good idea. Now,
And
I
then
want to
next
talk
week,
about
you can
YouTuber
challenge me.
real quick after you're done. Now, go on.
Next week, you get to challenge me to something. That maybe a game that I haven't played, or something that's reasonable, not like go out there and buy a box set of something.
Go out there and beat the shit out of as many people as you can in a bar fight.
It's like Grand Theft Auto!
Yeah, exactly. That's why Nintendo doesn't like us talking about the game. Because, well, we reference it to real life.
No,
yeah.
not TSA. Hey, NSA, I think that life is a video game. I'm gonna bomb everyone in the world. All at once. From the moon.
Okay, at least it's stupid. So, you want to talk about that YouTuber I told you about? Little awesome guy.
Yes.
Okay, so 8 months ago, there was this whole thing going on, and it was the I fly blah 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 I fly line eye. It was the I fly line eye conspiracy. And after about 1 day of this conspiracy, it turned into cold hard facts. So, let me give the full rundown. I fly line eye, the main freight engine to the fuck Raw Instinct train. And at this time, they had ran Raw Instinct off of YouTube. They had exposed him for what he was, a quote, a liar, cheater, and thief, unquote. And while iFly, I can't say his name today. While iFly was talking about,
Fly?
Yes, he's an Air Force pilot, by the way, so that's why his name is iFly Line.
Neat.
But while iFly was really hitting it off with his YouTube channel, he quickly hit that 100,000 subscriber mark like in a month, like just like that, with a snap of the fingers. He was really working hard. I appreciate all his work. I did enjoy it, and I respect the guy. But I'm pretty sure all of you know what happened. And
I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to be the conduit for those who don't, because I have no idea what happened.
Okay, so basically what happened was he went on Chatterbait. No one knows the full story. He doesn't give a shit really. The amount of F's he gives are equivalent and or proportional to 0 about everything.
Wait, what did he do?
He went on Chatterbait, which is this very sexual-oriented kind of site.
Oh, wait, I do know about this guy. Yeah, he's the guy who, pulled it in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, he wanked one off in front of guys for money. And, I really don't care what he does for money. Maybe he was short on cash for the month. I don't know, and I don't care. But he came back recently, about, I think, 7 hours ago. No, 5 hours ago. And this is on a Saturday. He came back 7 hours ago with this video I will leave in the description. And Foster, I believe I sent it to you over Facebook. Am I correct?
Yes, you did. I watched it.
Yes, and
he has come back.
He's come back. So, is this a good thing? Yes. Is this a bad thing for many other people? Yes. What I mean by that is, when Raw Instinct came back, very unfortunately, he came back with, I'm back, and then 6 months later, never posted a thing. By the way, I never watch it, but I did see this one highlight on the Bad Kids podcast or whatever. And,
no, you saw the guy pulling it.
And Raw Instinct came on the show.
Oh, God!
And then he crashed, like he was explaining himself, and in the midst of him explaining himself, you could see his screen go black, and then 5 seconds later, I think he crashed or something, and he just exited out of the hangout. And only use me Blade's best moment of the whole podcast. He's like, well, guess we won't see him for another 6 months, because that's how long it took for him to come back to YouTube. Anyway, enough of this rambling. So, really, I'm glad to see iFly back. And
yeah, me too. I'm gonna make fun of him.
And with this kind of, it's like the Anthony Weiner thing. Is it?
Yeah, Carlos Danger.
Is it a sign that morals are increasing, are becoming better in the community, that we're able to forgive people for stupid things like what he did? Or is it a bad thing that we're actually forgiving him for stupid things what he did? What's up?
Well, I don't think you say it's morally the right thing to do to forgive someone for doing something that maybe isn't morally the right thing to do. I'm more referring to Anthony Weiner and anything because that has infidelity written all over it.
Yeah. Anthony Weiner's different because he's just a bad.
I don't know.
He makes me hate American policy. I fucking hate American policy because of politicians like him. But anyway, what I meant was the whole iFly comeback thing. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. What's up? Well, I mean, what if he says I'm back and then leaves for 6 months? I mean, he just came back, so...
You see, that's one thing we don't know yet, and it's going to be a great thing to watch him over the next...
I think the question is...
I tweeted out saying it's going to be a great 6 months seeing what he's going to do.
For strangers for money. I think that's the question. Is he also going back to that business?
What are you talking about? Is he going to go on Chatterbait again?
Yeah.
Man, if he did, we would know. Because there's going to be people now that people know he's on... They will be looking for reasons to, literally ruin his life like they did before. I believe it was...
Well, come on, it's his choice.
I believe it was...
It's not like he was forced to do it.
No. It was iFly's choice to do so, and I respect his choice of actions. I mean, if he was Look, a lot of people would have done it.
You respect.
Look,
I like that. I like that.
no.
Because-
I don't care what.
Well,
the guy
I mean,
does
were
for
you
money.
watching him or
No. What I mean here is, I don't care what he does. On a financial level. I mean, don't kill. If it's not harming people, if it's not killing people, knock yourself out. If that's your thing, knock yourself out.
Well, what if that's like his next thing? He's like, I'm literally going to knock myself out doing this.
Well, then, as long as he's not hurting other people, then I don't see a reason to attack him. And
I think
it is weird for people to do that, and it definitely left kind of a scar on the community. But why care? I mean, who am I to judge some other guy? And I'm not a fanboy. I rarely watch the guy.
Well, I think
but I
that
did
the
like his work.
judgment comes mostly from people like when you are, I guess, YouTube famous and you have this wide audience, and you know,
he's
he does
in the Air Force. And he's
Exactly.
becoming a pilot, and he's becoming a commercial airplane pilot. Yeah,
and he
there's
does
a lot of things
gameplay
on the line.
videos, right?
Yeah, he does only use our M27 or M4A1 with shotgun attachment, for example.
This guy is a role model, and he's a role model to a lot of kids out there.
Yeah.
He should perform at a level of a certain level of integrity, I think. I feel like if you have a responsibility at that point to keep that integrity up and make sure that you are a positive influence on these people, because believe it or not, you have a huge influence. I mean, GreyShamrock, you were a kid at one point, right?
Of course. We all
Now,
were.
those people that you looked up to when you were a kid, you would have felt differently about them, or you would have maybe felt differently about yourself if they had this kind of thing going on, right?
Right, yeah, but you just actually shedded some light on why people didn't like what he did so much. He's an Air Force pilot, and he's becoming a commercial airplane pilot as well, first class, and yet he does something stupid like this in front of such a wide audience. I now see why.
Exactly, he's representing the military. He's
right, yeah.
representing-
Even there's this one military organization, I don't know what, but they're backing him. They're funding his pilot school tuition. And he just made a mockery of them by doing something so stupid like
Exactly.
this. Yeah, I see why now. And I
So
see your point.
I'm just trying to explain why there was negativity surrounding this. That
Right, but I still don't
you can
see
forgive all
why-
you want.
You know what? None of us know why. I mean, he's pretty close.
I do have a
with,
question
He's
about
pretty
it,
close
though.
with Drifter, but no one else outside of his circle knows why he did it. He obviously
Wait, it
doesn't
was
care.
in a circle?
No. What I mean is he has a kind of.
I get what you mean. I'm just, I've spoken about this entire podcast
Right.
for you, and I apologize. I just like the funny. But
What were we gonna say?
I have a real question about this. Like, he's a YouTuber, right? At his core,
Yes.
when he makes videos, he's a YouTuber.
I believe he had like 260,000 plus before he deleted his channel.
And, was he doing this before he started YouTube, or was he doing this after?
None of us know. We just know we had one screenshot of him doing the work, and that was it.
Oh, man.
And then, he really never defended himself either. It literally never phased him. He didn't.
All right,
he
I
didn't
got a
give-
question for
he
you,
gave
though.
no F's. He didn't even.
Like,
care.
you and I are YouTubers too, so you know that when we make videos, we go through a certain process. We have the setup, we have the intro, we have everything. We test our mics, we make sure everything's working. Do you think he did the same thing? Do you think that he used his YouTube intro or commentated while he was doing it? Just all right, guys, so we're gonna be going for a little while here.
So
We're
what's
gonna-
going on,
we're gonna see
guys?
how far we can go.
iFly here, and I'm just gonna get started. And just tell
Yeah,
me.
here we go. All right, so one thing that I like about this is, it really lets me connect with you guys. So leave a comment in the section down below if
Oh,
you'd like
remember
to see a different
subscribe, like, and
technique.
favorite.
Like
Oh
and
my
favorite
God.
this video. Leave comments for any suggestions for future videos, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, and I'm iFly, and we'll see you next week on Chatterpick. Yeah.
So I wonder if that's how it went, because it's hard to get out of that kind of YouTube mindset. If I even in this podcast, I said instinctively, "Hey there, friends, Foster the Canadian here," and I feel like even if I was on the news, if I was being interviewed, I'd be like, "Hey there, friends, I'm on the news. There's this house burning. I started it. Don't know why, but I'd still have that YouTube mindset because it's part of the video making process for me. And I'm very curious if it's the same for him.
I think that's the best thing I've ever heard from you, Foster. Like, I wonder if he had this kind of intro he did before he started.
Yeah, like, I wonder if he edited it and he's like, I'll put a lens flare here at the end, and...
Gotta make it all cinematic with some EDM or rock in the background.
Maybe he did a montage!
Yeah.
360, no scope!
His best moments.
Oh, man. Yeah.
What's going on, guys? It's fantastic way. The best moment ever, man.
I think this is a fantastic way to end the podcast.
Sure.
Because we've been going for just over an hour now.
Yeah, well done.
Supposed to
record 3 hours ago.
And Ghost Riley, you have anything to say about this?
I don't like Assassin's Creed.
And okay. What a just kidding.
Riley couldn't be here. It sucks. We'd like to have him on here, but I couldn't show up, so we're just going to make fun of him.
Obviously, yes.
Alright, we can end this?
Yep, so thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Perks Podcast 3.5. We'll see you next week.